the target audience for Author Level Up is really the intermediate author. It's that author who has published a few books, understands the basics of marketing, and is really looking to level up level up to the next stage in their career. And for many of them, that's full-time author. For others, it's, making more money. But what one piece of advice would you give those authors watching who are wanting to step into your shoes one day?
Well, I mean, I guess, first of all, patience. I think that's a big one. I think what changed everything for me was having mentors. And I've talked about this a couple times, but just having people who are just a couple years ahead of you, and not people that you have emailed once and like they responded and now they follow you on Twitter. Not people like that. People that you can genuinely go to and ask them questions, ask them for feedback. And the reason why is because the path to being an author, a full-time author, even like just a published author, all of those paths are known. They're very like known and quantifiable, and there are specific steps that you can take to get down those paths, or to get to where you want to go. And the person that's a couple years ahead of you, they know what all those steps are. And so when you come up with a plan, you're kind of still dreaming about this thing that you want to do. When you come up with your plan, it's not going to be a very good plan because you don't really know what you're doing yet. So you come up with that plan. That's great. Take that plan to somebody who has more experience, and they can show you, well, this probably isn't going to work, or this, because like, here's a good example. Whenever I talk to new authors, like maybe people who have one book out, for example, they're like, well, how do you market your books on social media? Like, that's a very common question that I get. And I'm like, you don't market your books on social media. That's just not
exactly.
Not
it's
where
the wrong way to do it.
Yeah, like that's not how you market your books. But so what could happen to somebody is if you have this assumption that you market books on social media, you come up with this great social media plan, you go to implement it, you get no results, and it was just like this huge waste of your time. And somebody who was a couple years ahead of you could have told you that in like 2 seconds, and you would have saved yourself all this drama. So
Exactly.
that's kind of why, that's why I think that the mentorship is so important. And with my mentors, they tell me all sorts of stuff and stop me from making a lot of stupid mistakes. So like, I'm starting a podcast, and luckily I've been on a bunch of podcasts in the last year. So I have friends who podcast now. So I was talking to one of my friends earlier today, and he's like, don't do that. Like, he knows so much more about podcasting than me. And he was able to, like, within like a couple minutes, like completely change my like my production and marketing plans for my podcast. And it's because he just knows way more about it. Like, he's done it for a couple of years now, and he just knows what to do. So, I just think mentors are just, they're like the rocket fuel for your author career. Like, you
Exactly.
need to get them.